Hello, beautiful people. I'm so glad that everybody is here. Give us a minute while we connect to Instagram, and then I'm going to share with you a special guest that I have here. We're going to be talking more about the bundle. And let's see. And we are live everywhere. Welcome, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I have the honor of talking with Chef Julia Dunaway, and I am really excited. She is in the bundle. And if you haven't checked out the bundle, oh my goodness, you've got to check out the bundle. It goes till March 10th. And you can find a link in either my bio, or you can find it in Chef Julia's bio. And Chef Julia, say hello and let us know where we can find your link.
Oh, hello. I'm in Texas, and I'm happy to join you today, Jennifer. My link, you can if you just look me up on Facebook, Chef Julia, you can find me pretty easily. Or my YouTube channel is called Chef Julia Dunaway. And Instagram, I'm in there as Julia Dunaway. So I'm pretty easy to find. And if you Google me, a bunch of stuff will pop up. So find me in any of your platform that you like, and I'm out there and trying to always create content to help people follow the whole food plant-based lifestyle and do all the things that I like to do.
Yeah, well, that's great. And of course, if you're trying to reach Chef Julia, and I know you'll be able to find her, but you can always reach out to me and I can always help in any way as well. So yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the bundle, and I'm so excited to learn more about you. And I just want to share that you have two contributions in the bundle that I saw, a 21-day challenge, which is amazing. And I want you to share more about that. It's a meal plan. It's got everything from shopping lists to just exactly what to do to be successful in weight loss. And then, which I thought was kind of fun, you also have something on cookies. And so it's a whole food plant-based cookies cookbook. And I went ahead and tried your breakfast cookies. And so far, they're a big hit in my family. And boy, do they smell delicious. So tell me a little bit about why you decided to put those books in the bundle.
Well, I have a 21-day challenge cookbook or ebook already. And so I've had that one out for a few years. And people would always ask me, well, why don't you have a meal plan or shopping lists or anything? And I really didn't have that developed very well. So I thought, well, that's something that I've been asked about. And to tell you a little bit about the 21-day challenge, back in March of 2020, I started doing a lot of live videos on cooking during COVID. And at some point, I just started thinking, I should be in better shape because of eating a plant-based diet. But I was about 30 pounds heavier than I am now. And I thought, I need to do something a little bit more drastic than just eating all this really good, rich plant-based food. So I started what I call the 21-day challenge on May 18th, 2020. And I had been reading everybody's books. I had Dr. Esselstyn, Dr. Furman, Rip Esselstyn's Engine 2 stuff. And then I also had How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger. And his plan was the Daily Dozen. And he had a chart and an app and all these, helpful recipes about how to follow the Daily Dozen and, lose weight, get healthy, eat what you need to eat. So I thought, well, I'm just going to do that, but I'll do it for 21 days and see what happens. And I'll stick with it 100% and eat nothing but the Daily Dozen. That was my plan. So the Daily Dozen consists of eating 3 servings of beans, 3 servings of grains, 2 servings of greens, plenty of vegetables, fruit, berries, a little small amount of nuts and seeds, and a few spices. Exercise 90 minutes a day, and drink a lot of water or beverages. So I thought I can do that. My problem with doing that kind of thing in the past was I would do that kind of thing. I would follow the healthy, oil-free, plant-based diet foods for a few days, and then we'd go out to dinner. And then I would, eat a Mexican fajita dinner or something, and it'd have oil and rice and beans and way too much food and way too much salt. And then I would, whatever progress I had made the few days before, I was back to square one. So it was just like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So this time I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make my own food. I'm going to get up and walk every morning, no matter what. And I'm going to just stick with it 100%. So I did that for 21 days. And the strange thing that happened is my cholesterol dropped about 40 points. And I lost not that much weight. I lost about 2 pounds in 21 days. So I thought, well, that's not very good. I better keep going. And so I kept going. But over the course of between May and December, I lost 20 something pounds by then. I lost the rest of it the first couple months of the next year. But I achieved my weight loss goal and my goal of having better cholesterol, blood pressure, health in general. So I just kept doing it. Well, I started a support group on Facebook called Chef Julia Support Group. And I encouraged other people to join me in the 21-day challenge. And then I wrote the ebook, How to Do It, and 7 or 8 other ebooks over the course of the next couple years. And so then this year for the bundle, my contribution was a 7-day meal plan. And that was just a way, I have a copy of it right here. I printed it out so it would be easy for me to access all the recipes. And every recipe has a color photo, and it has different, like a menu for the week so that you kind of know what to expect for the whole week. I had it in here anyway, it's in there. And I picked 20 of my favorite recipes. So there were things that most people like this morning, earlier live, I made chili. And I made beans the other day to just show how to use basic rice and beans or grains and beans and make a plate with lots of vegetables. And it has everything from, sweet things to breakfast things to entrees and whatever you need for a whole week. But that was what motivated me to make that. And then the other ebook was the cookies. And that one has 28 cookie recipes. And those are just a collection of cookies I've made over the years. And I printed that one out because I've been making stuff from that all day. Tonight I'm making peanut butter bars, chocolate peanut butter bars. So that's going to be my recipe for tonight. But that one, I taught a class in November called Plant-Based Cookies, like 12 days of cookies. And I had a lot of cookie recipes that I developed for that class. So I took those plus added others to it. And that book has been very popular among the other bundle contributors. I've seen other people making cookies from my ebook. So I'm happy to see that people are looking at it saying, oh, these cookies look good. And I made this morning or last night on my channel, my live stream on YouTube, I made carrot cake cookies. Ooh. And they're kind of irresistible. I mean, I've got them here and I'm thinking, I need to eat another one of those. But I'm trying to resist because I have a lot of other baked cookies and things I've made the past few days. So, I have to pace myself.
Yeah.
But that's my story.
That's awesome. So, yes, as you're sharing about what's in there, I'm going, yes, I saw that cookie recipe. Yes, it was really hard to choose. And I went with the breakfast cookie because I made it around breakfast time. And I really do like the layout that you have in the challenge cookbook. And the 7 days, everything is very organized. You can find everything. There's all kinds of lists and, like you said, pictures. And I actually have Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen clipped to to my oven over there on the side. And so it's really great to hear how much that helped you and how you can include exercise. I also wanted to just let you know that we do have people in the chat. So let me just, trying to just say hello to everybody. Course Scorpy is here. Tanya, hello. Colleen says hi. Lydia says hi. Chef Julia. Hi, Jennifer. And I'm looking to see if we have any questions. Hi, Annette. Annette says hi to both of us. Hi to everyone. And Tanya says, I can't see that. I fall flat on the 90 minutes a day exercise. Yes. And let me see what else we have here. Lydia says, that chili looks so good. Everything Chef Julia makes looks amazing. And that's why you want to get the bundle. Because if you buy everything separately, it's going to probably be around, or if not more than what you would getting everything in the bundle. And so it's really great to hear. Everybody loves what you say. and share. So I got to ask you, Chef Julia, why and how did you end up as a chef doing plant-based cooking?
Well, I didn't start out that way. So I was in the military for 30 years. And during the last few years of my service, I went to culinary school. This was 2008, 2009. And I was the oldest student in my class. I was 54, and everybody else was like 20 or whatever. And, but I wanted to, my hobby was cooking. So I wanted to have a business as a chef when I retired in 2015. So I wanted to get a head start and learn how to be a chef. So I went to a full-time culinary school at night and on the weekends while I was still on active duty. My career for 35 years was I was a clinical social worker, social work administrator. So I was a therapist. I was in charge of a big department of social workers. That was my work. So I wanted to do something totally different. And I went to culinary school, and I got my chef certification in 2000, the end of 2009, started my business, Chef Julia, in 2010. I didn't go plant-based until about 2017. So in the period from the time I graduated from culinary school until I went plant-based, I made regular food, just standard American food. And I did cooking classes here in my classroom. We built it in 2015. It used to be a back porch, and now it's a big classroom.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'd have people come over, and we would make, bacon wrapped cheese stuffed meatloaf and paella and really rich food. And it was very popular. But then in 2017 and 18, I started deciding that I was going to follow the Blue Zones kind of approach program. And I was a Blue Zone chef for the city of Fort Worth. So we had a project to make our city, Fort Worth, a Blue Zone city in America. And they needed chefs to go around and make plant-based food to demonstrate to people what it would taste like. And I was already interested in that way of eating. I had read a bunch of books already, and I was very familiar with it, but had never embraced it. So I was doing all these cooking demos for the Blue Zones project. And in 2018, decided I was going to completely transform everything I was doing to plant-based for my health, for the environment, for everything. And so that's when I started doing plant-based classes. Well, immediately I posted all my classes for the year and for the next few months. Nobody signed up because all my clients were used to eating the rich, gourmet food, and they didn't want to eat, plant-based food, especially no oil plant-based food. So I just kind of got discouraged, but I started posting what I was doing on social media, Forks Over Knives group and different places. And all of a sudden, people started, getting interested in what I was doing. And some would even fly out to spend a day with me here in my classroom and learn how to make food. And I was getting really popular. By 2020, people were coming and coming to my classes. But then, COVID happened, and all the in-person stuff just kind of went by the wayside. And I had to learn how to do this, go online and do, live streaming and videos and YouTube and whatnot. And I started doing that. And then, I had to develop my skill set in how to make plant-based food, but I wanted to make it taste good. So that has always been my quest, to take just the typical plant-based food that everybody's eating and make it special, make it taste better, use a lot of spices, herbs, fresh ingredients, good produce, good cooking techniques, and make my food stand out by having things that people really like. And I've been pretty successful at that. So that's what I do. I just try to make our whole food plant-based food taste really good. And I make a lot of ethnic food. Like, I'm half Japanese, so I make a lot of Japanese food. I love Korean food, Thai food, Indian food, Vietnamese food, Italian, Mexican, New Mexican, anything that has some extra pizzazz to it, you'll find those are the things that I make.
Wow, that's incredible. Oh my gosh. Thank you for your service, first of all. And that's wonderful how this evolved. Thank you for sharing that. I have had my eye on, and I plan on making the sushi that you have in the book. And I spent some time myself in Japan a handful of years back, and It's amazing, what you can do with it when you change it into plants.
Mhm.
And as you
Mhm.
were talking, I was thinking, oh, I wonder how people, if they were receptive. And then you said people really weren't signing up. But I think that that's really something that people that are not familiar with it, they don't really understand that it's not just, I mean, it is salads, beautiful salads and dressings and things like that, but that's not it. And what you can do with all
Mhm.
the different, mixtures,
Yeah.
create beautiful food. And apparently, when you started showing that, that teaches people. And that's what I tried to also share with people too, is that it's not just salad, and you're not going to be hungry, and you're going to have more energy, and you're going to feel good. And like you said, it brought your cholesterol down 40 points. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Mhm.
And weight loss and everything else. So that's incredible. I want to ask you, do you have, or have you had a garden where you're growing your own stuff, or do you go to a farmer's market, or where do you like to get your produce?
Well, I live on 5 acres, so I have a bunch of raised garden beds, and I do grow a lot of stuff. So I'll grow tomatoes and onions and lots of cucumbers because I make pickles every year. I have a big fig tree, so I have a lot of figs. I have berries, and then of course a huge herb garden. So I love to use fresh herbs right out of the garden, and then in the spring and summer, right outside my window here, I'll have a big planter full of cilantro and parsley and kitchen herbs so that I can just go clip off fresh herbs anytime I need them for a recipe. So yeah, I do have a big garden. I do grow a lot of stuff, and that makes it a lot easier. But I do buy produce from Central Market. It's like a gourmet grocery store, so I'll get stuff from there and the farmers markets. In fact, I'm doing a lot of cooking demos at our Azel where I live. We started having a farmers market last year, and they asked me to come and do cooking demos. So I'm set to go on opening day, April the 5th, and I'll do a cooking demo, and all of them are plant-based, which is perfect for a farmers market. So, that's a place where I can get some produce as well.
Yeah, I would love to attend that.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing. And so I'm also very intrigued when you started talking about this kitchen that you're standing in, that you have shared with people and taught, and
Mhm.
it was an add-on. That's such a great idea. So we can see part of it, but how many
Mhm.
students could it hold?
Well, I can set it up. I mean, it's pretty messy right now. You can't really, I can kind of scan around. It goes to my backyard. You can see out the window,
Oh,
and
beautiful.
it's surrounded by windows. So then I have a bunch of plants. I have a big table where people can sit. And then don't mind my mess because, I've been filming all week. These are ingredients for later demos, equipment. I have a stove. It goes out to a back patio with a fireplace. And then I can extend my counter here. And when I have retreats, I would have 13 people sitting around my counter. And so I could have a class of about 20 people because I have another kitchen in the other room. So what I would do when I would have classes is people could be cooking in here and they could be cooking in the full kitchen inside the house. And so I have plenty of room for stuff like that. And that was my vision, was to have a place where I could have people come over and we could cook. And now that I don't have to do everything online, this year was the year I was going to start doing in-person classes again and have things here at my house, where people would come over. Well, things kind of have gone a little bit crazy this year. I had my son died in August of last year.
Oh, I'm so
And so for about 6 months, I just didn't do anything. This is actually the first month I've really started doing things again. And then right at the beginning of the year, when I thought I was going to start scheduling things for the year, my dog developed cancer and died within about 6 weeks. So
sorry.
then that threw me off and I didn't want to do anything. So I'm just now coming out of, okay, now give me a few weeks of peace and then maybe I'll feel like creating my schedule because I haven't even created a schedule for 2025, but I want to. I have some classes I want to do, but I've just been, it's just been a really tough year.
Yeah. Well, first of all, my condolences. I'm really sorry. It's hard to lose anyone, a pet, a son. Oh my goodness, my heart goes out to you. And I understand. I just recently lost my father, and it really does shake a person up. But you know what? Being able to come here and be with like-minded people and have community and love, I hope that that offers you some kind of comfort. And I'm glad that you're thinking about doing some more fun things. I would
Mm.
like to learn more about what you offer. And thank you so much for giving us that 360 view. Wow. uh, your vision, it's a beautiful one. And I think that's really cool how you were sharing that you have the two kitchens that you can have up to 20 people. When you
Mhm.
have this kind of group retreats and different things, do people stay over at your home, or do they come for like day hours? How has that worked in the past? I'm just so interested.
Well, I think I did 7 or 8 retreats over the past few years, and I haven't done one since, the last one was in 2024, mid-2024. But what would happen is people would fly in from wherever they were from. There would be some local people, but a lot of people were from out of state, and they would get a hotel somewhere because I don't have room to house people here. So
Okay.
they would get a hotel room, they would come at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning and stay until 5, 8 hours. And we would cook lunch together. We would have I would have guest speakers come in like Dr. Rizwan Bukhari, who's a vascular surgeon, lives in Dallas, and he would come and do a talk for us. I would have a a weightlifting trainer, a coach, my personal trainer, come in and talk about the importance of strength training. And then we would just I would teach, how to make all these basic dishes. And I would give everybody a big breakfast when they got here. So I would spend all week making stuff like, breakfast cookies and oat-based sausages, tofu scramble, grits, all kinds of food for breakfast. And so they would come in and they would have this huge breakfast buffet, fresh fruit, everything you could think of. And they would sit down and get to know one another, have all the fruit and breakfast foods and goodies, and then we would start the class. And then they would all cook the lunch, and then we would have a big lunch thing in the afternoon, and then we would have more. I would like demonstrate how to use the Ninja Creamy back here and make, nice cream with a Ninja Creamy, and we'd have that for dessert with a fresh berry cobbler. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work for me. So
Yeah.
I didn't schedule any for the fall of last year because they were going to be doing some road work outside my house. And I didn't want people to not be able to get here easily. So I didn't have one. Well, then, this year happened, and I don't know when I'm going to have another retreat. So those of people who attended the retreats, they were the fortunate people, because I don't know that I'm ever going to feel like doing them again.
Yeah.
But I was planning to do this year. I'm going to do some kind of pizza class, like a plant-based pizza, because I have a couple of options for grilling pizza outside. I have a big patio with grills and stuff we can cook outside. And I have a lot of recipes for good pizza crust, like especially sourdough pizza crust. So
Oh,
I plan to do that class, and that'll be like a 3-hour class. Anybody can attend it from anywhere, but that's a long way to come to attend a 3-hour class. But if they want to come from wherever they want to come, they can do that.
you caught my attention with
Yeah.
sourdough pizza crust. Yum! That sounds amazing. Yeah, I will keep my eyes open. And if you ever offer anything, I'm gonna be like trying to figure out. I want to go, or maybe you guys in the chat would be interested, and we could support Chef Julia. Wonderful. Yeah. And I just have a few things here, not sharing the recipe because you can get it in the bundle, but all good whole food things. These are just a few of the items that are in these
Mhm.
breakfast cookies, and they're so incredibly good. Oh my gosh. And I can't wait to try all of your other recipes, or as many as I can, because everything looks so good. The sushi, that's really a technique. Do you, or
Mhm.
have you taught that technique for wrapping? Because whenever I do it, it's hit or miss. Sometimes it works out. Oh, look at you.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is what I made yesterday. We made the the nori wraps, the spring
Oh,
rolls,
you blow
and
that up.
I have a few left. I kind of demolished most of them last night, but I have a few left, and they were incredible. They were so good. And then I made, you can see inside them, they have all kinds of vegetables and some roasted tofu that I have left. But yeah, if you want to watch that, it's on my YouTube channel. It's called Nori Fresh Rolls. But I'm going to be making my sushi on, it's on my schedule to make during the bundle. It's on, let's see what day. Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to make the sushi rolls with the chickpea tuna, the chickpea spread. And
Uh,
I'll do a demo on exactly how to make them. So watch Monday morning at 10 o'clock. And
okay.
then I have on my website, chef-julia.com, I have 63 classes on there, Zoom classes that you can purchase for 20, most of them are $25. And they're like 2.5 hour long videos with a detailed recipe packet. And there's a recent, I think it was last year, I taught a class about everything about sushi, how to make it. So if you want a really detailed class that's already out there, you know, you can go to my website. I've got classes on every kind of cuisine and all kinds of stuff out there. That's what I've been doing since 2020, is doing these online classes where people would sign up and I would come here into my kitchen and make, you know, 7 or 8 different dishes, and people would attend. At maybe 200, sometimes 250 people would sign up, and 50 or 60 would attend the live class and the others would watch the recording. So, but I have any kind of food you want to make. I bet if you looked, you'd find it, because I kind of went through everything I could think of.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing it. Those look so colorful. I want to take a bite. And of
Oh,
course,
the rolls,
yeah,
yeah,
yes. And of course, those are whole food plant-based.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the other part that you had in the baggie next to it, that you have the recipe in
yeah.
your in the bundle, right?
Uh-huh. Well, that's part of the spring roll recipe. Those are strips of roasted tofu. So they
Yeah.
go inside, but I had a lot left, and so I can use those. All the things left over from making the rolls, then I have like leftover rice noodles, cabbage, cucumbers, carrots, tofu, peanut dressing, and I can just toss all that and have a delicious deconstructed roll, which is a salad really. So that's what I'll do, you
Oh,
know, maybe for a meal tomorrow, because I have the tofu and all the other leftover stuff. Today for lunch, I'll probably have the rest of these spring rolls. And tonight for dinner, I'll have the chili I made this morning. So we're eating well during the bundle week because I'm cooking all these things. My husband's like, "Oh, what are we having tonight?" And I
right.
said, I
That's
made
great.
chili this morning." So he's happy. He likes the plant-based chili pretty well.
So
So yeah.
is your husband a whole food plant-based exclusive with you? And has that always been the case?
No, he eats whatever he likes, and he will eat some of the things I make, like a lot of things he really likes. And he doesn't like to cook, so he's more likely to eat what I've fixed because he doesn't want to cook his own meal or go out and get it. So chances are he'll eat what I cook. Sometimes if he doesn't like it, certain things he doesn't like, he might make himself something, you know, that he likes, and I just let him do whatever he likes to do. I can't control him. I'm 70 and he's a couple years older, so you know, you can only go so far with helping people. And you know, at some point I hope he continues to move closer to where I'm at, but if he doesn't, he doesn't. I do the best I can, though. I try to make things that taste good so he'll enjoy them, and he enjoys a lot of it.
Yeah, that's great. I was asking because, in my household, my husband and I, well, he's eating a lot more plants, which is fantastic. And I'm really excited about it. But, sometimes it's not the same. And so it's always
Mhm.
interesting to hear how people make it work or what people do or
Mhm.
what they don't do. But my husband has started actually doing some cooking and, he's never done that. And what I have learned is that he's really good with blending and preparing the different spices. And
Mhm.
so, he'll say, "Oh, try this," and I'm like, "That is really good." And so that is encouraging as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, just doing what we need to do for ourselves, and then hopefully people will be interested. Yeah, no forcing. It's not going to work that way, even though we love them, right? And we want the best for them. So if you were going to pick anything out of the bundle that stood out to you, would you name or share anything that you may have come across?
Yeah, I have created quite a list, but what was interesting to me when I got the bundle and looked at it myself, I saw that Broccoli Mom's weight loss book was in there, and I purchased that a couple of months ago for $31. It was in pounds, but it translated to $31. And I said, man, if I had known that was going to be in the bundle, I would not have bought it because I spent, my own money. So that's worth $30, $31. And then also, I was really so impressed by one of the ebooks. I printed a copy of it out to give to my son. It's called, well, you can't see, you got image reverse, but it's 5 Ways to Lower Blood Pressure Without Medication by Dr. Shoba. And my 41-year-old son died from high blood pressure.
Oh.
He was on medication. He did not have any symptoms. He just basically didn't wake up. And they said he had a thickening of his heart, and there was some kind of electrical malfunction possibly. But anyway, it was a sudden cardiac death, and his high blood pressure was not very well controlled. I knew that because it would always read kind of high, but the doctor gave him just kind of a lower dose of medication, never raised it. He wasn't doing cardio. He wasn't exercising at all. He was eating kind of a high sodium diet. He wasn't sleeping. He was always on the go. He had a girlfriend in another state. He would drive there all the time. And he drank a lot of Red Bull. So I think everything he was doing was something that was harmful to his body, basically, and probably under a lot of stress. So, his brother, who's a couple years younger, he has kind of elevated blood pressure. So I'm really concerned about him. So I was really happy to see that book.
Yeah.
And I have a copy for him and for me to look at, because that's something that I always have to keep a close eye on, because without following my plant-based way of eating and keeping the sodium down and sleeping well, keeping my stress down, mine tends to kind of go up sometimes. So I have to be really cautious. So there was that. There are books about coaching and stress and all kinds of things, but I'm always attracted to the things about cooking. So I had made my own little list because I was, trying to decide what was valuable to me about the bundle. And I said, well, their topics are batch cooking, meal prep, coaching, raw. There's even one on cooking tips and techniques by Ramses Bravo, who's got a bunch of cookbooks out. And it's like a video course with a bunch of short videos on how to do specific things. And I get asked that a lot of times, by people like, how do you sharpen your knife? How do you saute without using oil? And he covers all these things. There's one on label reading. There's you can get all the topics for food: smoothies, Mexican, Italian, pizza, burgers, of course, cookies. And then I did a talk yesterday with Janet Rickey, and she has plant-powered travel. And I read her ebook from cover to cover, and I was kind of tickled by, she talked about getting a travel rice cooker soup maker, and there was a recipe for travel soup. So I bought the rice cooker. It came in the mail today, and it's like tiny. It's like that big. And I'm going to do a live demo on her travel soup probably tomorrow. So I just fell in love with her book because she has no excuses. I mean, she does not go traveling and then try to depend on restaurants and hope that she can get stuff. She follows her thing, her whole food, plant-based, no oil way of life, even when she's traveling, which, not all of us, like, I don't always do that. I end up going to restaurants and doing the best I can, which is usually never that great. But she doesn't do that. She buys her food and cooks it in her hotel room, even when she's on a bicycle. She carries the cooker on her bicycle. So she's pretty amazing. Anyway, there's something for everybody in the bundle. And you would pay, like I already said, just for my books, Broccoli Mum, a couple others. It might be a couple $100 just for a handful of things. But you're going to get 83 things. So out of those 83, what I'd do is I would kind of scroll through all the topics and just download the ones that are meaningful to me.
Yeah, and I think, let's see, we have somebody in the chat. Tanya says, I just bought Broccoli Mom's ebook too. It was almost $60 CAD. I think that's Canadian.
Canadian, yeah. It's a
Wow.
good book. It's very extensive. I read through it when I got it because I can't remember why I even got it, but I thought, oh, I want to see what she really eats and get some written recipes, not just her quick Instagram reels. And so I read it, and I don't like all of her recipes. She uses a lot of weird, cauliflower and chickpea combinations.
Oh, yes, I've seen that.
She does have a lot of good recipes in there, but she has a lot of good tips in there on how to stick with your weight loss type of eating. She really emphasizes calorie density, staying low calorie density, how to bulk up your food so you have a lot of high volume food, because it's hard to lose weight if you're eating big servings of grains and beans and not very many vegetables. For women especially, and especially women in my age group, or women over 50, I guess, not over 70 now. But as you get older, hormones and metabolism or whatever activity level, it's really hard to lose weight. And so she has a lot of good tips for actually losing weight. And so I think her book is very valuable. And so the bundle, just her book, mine, and Jennifer, I don't know what your contribution to the bundle was. I've got so many lists and names. I guess you'll have to tell us.
Oh, yeah.
Yours was.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share that. And you did really talk about some great ones in there, Chef Bravos. And I ate his food before because I was at True North water fasting a few years ago. And Janet, the plant-powered peddler, she's actually a very good friend of mine. And I've traveled with her, and we've shopped and cooked together. And it is very easy to do. You just have to make sure that you understand the commitment, the reason why, and it can be done. It's different than maybe what we've been brought up to do, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. So I think everything that you shared about things that resonate with you in the bundle were really great. I have a few different things. This is my very first cookbook and my very first contribution to a bundle, and it's called Give Plants a Chance. And
I saw that. Yes, I saw that.
So that's my little cookbook, and I talk about my story a little bit in the front. And then I have things like smoothies, sauces, salads. I have some main dishes and some desserts. And it's just, some of it's raw, some of it's cooked. And I just really want to share with people that, my reason for changing is health related. At least that's how it started with. Of course, there's always more learning, and, people, talk about the environment and the animals and stuff. But I had a terrible time with my health and was bedridden, and, changing my food really gave me my life back. And so what other way could I share with other people? But it's like, look at how simple these things can be. They're tasty and delicious. And so I wanted to offer that. I also became a certified plant-based nutrition coach, and just want to reach people and help them. And I got together with a few other coaches, and we put together the Masterclass series. It's a 5-video series. And we talk about topics that are common, that people, might be curious about. There is a topic in there on travel. I've traveled to internationally, locally, even for the day, and I've shared a lot about how I'm successful. I haven't traveled on a bike yet, but I have gone by bus, train, backpack, hiking, airplane. I mean, you name it, I've tried it, and I've done it a great job of making sure that it works for me, because I just want to make sure that I can get to the grocery store, that I pack my food and it's enough. And it's okay if I don't eat it all. I'd rather have it than not. And so those are things that I've contributed. I do want to mention that there was a collaboration book for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I did contribute 2 recipes in there that they, for whatever reason, did not get entered right away, but it's been fixed. And so if you already downloaded that book, you can go back and download that specific one again, and then you will have the latest update, and mine would be included in there if you're interested. But those
Great.
are my contributions. Yeah.
Jennifer, somebody said they wish they could see the books before they purchase the bundle, but if you go to the link for the bundle, it will take you to a screen that kind of lists all the different books, and I think it will give you a description of each one.
Yes, and
So,
I do a live on Tuesdays on my YouTube channel at 2 p.m. Arizona time. We don't change our clock. So right now it's Mountain Standard Time. And last Tuesday, I did the whole entire show was about the bundle, and I went over every single book that's in there. So if you're interested, you can go to my YouTube channel and check that out. But outside of that, I don't, I think that would be the way, like, to be able to view it ahead of time. And that's what I would suggest if you want to check that out.
Right. But also you could just go to the link when you give the link to the bundle and click on it. It will go through a whole list of everything that's in the bundle.
That's true.
So,
it's itemized,
yeah.
and then it has a description and what they retail the price for. Isn't that correct?
Right. Exactly. Yes. So if somebody is in a hurry and they just want to say, well, I just want to see what's in the bundle, who's in it, what did they contribute, what is it valued at, they can just quickly scroll through that list and all of those things will pop up. I was kind of surprised, when I saw that. So you can see enough about it to understand, well, is that something I'm interested in, or do I want to know more about it? So yeah, it's not the same as looking through the whole contribution, but it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect.
Yes, absolutely. And also, you have, and I wouldn't take a year, but you have a year to download it. But once you get it, if you decide to get it, after you've looked at those things that you said, then you can move it anywhere and have it indefinitely. So there's no rush to go through things. You can take your time, and it, as long as you have it stored somewhere, like I use the Google Drive. Some people use, how do you store yours?
Well, I don't usually download that many of them. So I don't, I just don't want to look at everything in the bundle. This is like my third bundle. So I don't have time for all that content personally.
Yeah.
So I just go through and pick the ones I know that I'm going to use personally. And then I'll download those just on my computer and I'll look at them and decide whether I want to keep them around. But if I wanted to keep them, I have used a flash drive before, just an external drive to keep stuff like that. So I guess it just depends on whatever you want to use. Some people download them to their book app on their iPad, and then they just keep them there, and they don't have any problem with that. I don't think it takes up as much storage as people think.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up and shared that. You don't want to download everything, and not everything resonates with you. It's still a great value if you're only interested in a few different things.
Yep.
So, and people have said that to me before also, like, oh my gosh, it's overwhelming, and I was really just interested in A, B, and C. Well, A, B, and C, you might still be getting a great deal at $49. And also, every bundle is different, because I've purchased them before, but this is the first time I'm in it. And so you said this is your third year. And so and so every year you put different content in there. Isn't that correct?
I save the ones I really want. And you have to remember, though, I'm a chef and I have my own, hundreds of recipes around. So I have a lot of my own content. So I'm not like trying to collect a lot of content from people. So I kind of limit it because my house is full of cookbooks. I'm overwhelmed, overloaded with people's cookbooks, my cookbooks, So I'm kind of at the stage now where I'm like, okay, no more. Minimize the amount of new stuff coming in because I have so much that I've never looked at. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not just starting out. I'm kind of like, I've spent 5 years collecting stuff. Now I've got to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody's at a different place.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, you shared that you're 70 years old. You look absolutely beautiful. Your skin is amazing. And that's really a testament to the plants and to the lifestyle. And, there's so much that people can learn from in the bundle. And like you said, there's a Dr. Sheba that has the information about blood pressure. And that was really of interest to me as well, because my husband had high blood pressure. And when he started changing his food, he was able to get off his medication. And, people really don't really understand it. And so there's pieces like that. And in this bundle, especially, that takes you and explains that whole thing. It's a doctor, and it's a great resource, and it's not like over your head. It's very simply understood. So,
Yeah.
do you have any other questions for me, or are there any questions for anyone in the chat, or I should say, anyone in the chat that has a question? Please, we want to make sure that we address it.
Jennifer, was the name of your second ebook, was it called Master Class for Coaching, or what was it called, you said?
Yeah, Masterclass series. It's blue. It's got a blue cover, and it's got some cartoon food.
Okay, I'm gonna look at that one.
Okay, yeah, please do. That would be great. I would love to hear any feedback that you have about that. And so,
I like the title of your book too, that Give Plants a Chance. Somebody in your chat said they thought of a name, and it was Give Peas a Chance, P-E-A-S-P, like green peas that you eat. I thought that was kind of funny. I was laughing when I saw that.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
I thought that was cute.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just think that sometimes people just, I don't know why it seems so difficult to eat the food, but then again, I can understand, depending on where you are, if you're used to eating, processed food and stuff, that the palate needs to adjust. So I always want to say, just go ahead, just give plants a chance, because if you do, they could change your life like they changed mine and they changed yours. And so that's really exciting for me.
Yeah, it's people a lot of times have preconceived notions, or like I've had people, some of my friends, none of my friends are plant-based, my local friends. And, if they have to have food at their functions or book club or whatever, they'll say something to me like, I just don't know what kind of vegan food to make. And I tell them, you eat plant-based food all the time. You eat salads, vegetables, fruit, grains. I said, you're always eating the same food that I eat. You just put stuff on it that I don't use, like cheese in your salad and butter on your rice, but we eat the same food. And they're like, oh, I never thought of it that way. It's like they think we're an alien and we eat a certain kind of food that we have to go label somewhere and find. We have to find the plant-based food for Julia. It's like, it's just the food you already eat. So sometimes people overcomplicate it, I think.
Yeah. I recently was traveling and was at a big family event in another state, and they were having everything catered. It was a whole weekend thing, and it was not plant-based. And, I just said to the host, who is a family member, don't worry about me. I'm just going to bring my own stuff, because she was feeling overwhelmed. What am I going to give you? What am I going to do for you? But, she said, well, we'll have some salad and we'll have some veggies. That's great, and maybe fruit. And then when I brought my own food, then they could see, oh, you're eating that. Oh, okay. And then they get a little more familiar with it's, oh, that looks good. In fact, I've had even people say to me, where did you get that, beautiful kale salad, when they're coming back from like a buffet and we're all sitting at a restaurant, and I'll say, from home. I brought it, So it's just a different way, a mind shift that you need, right?
Yep. Yeah, it is. We just have to educate people. And, you said about me being older and looking healthy. Well, looks are one thing, but I'm in really good health and physical shape. Like I walk, 90 minutes a day. I go lift weights a couple of days a week. And I don't have aches and pains or any inflammation or swollen feet or a lot of the stuff that you hear from people in my age group, that I hear from people I know that are constantly complaining about, something has gone wrong, or they're at the doctor, or they've got this, or they've got that. And I'm just quiet because I don't want to, say anything to them that they might find insulting, because they
Right.
know what I do. And I don't say anything because I don't want to preach to them and say, well, look, if you were eating this way, it reduces inflammation. If you go to strength training, you'll really improve your ability to lift things and not end up straining yourself. And, it's just a whole lifestyle that those
Yeah.
of us in this world live, that I think no matter how old you get, you can still be super healthy and active and do the things you like to do. There doesn't have to be a time where, oh, well, now, I'm technically I'm an elderly person, and I'm in the group of, an old person, but I don't identify that way. If someone says that, it's like, I don't identify as an elderly person.
Yeah.
And I can go to Costco and, lift the heavy thing of bottled water, although I don't really buy that anymore, but I could, lift the whole big thing of bottled water and put it in my cart, where I've seen people ask for help, oh, please
Yeah.
help me. I can't do it. And, I think I don't want to be a helpless older person. I want to be able to live my life and do what I want to do no matter how old I am.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your independence for sure. And,
Hmm.
through some of my health challenges, I did lose it. I couldn't even hold up a pen or feed myself or sit up. And I remember thinking about, well, how am I going to make it to, walk to this area or that area? And I
Hmm.
remember that. And now that I have it back, I can do things like you can do them. And so, although, technically people tend to think that way as we progress in our age,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
it can happen at any time when we're not doing well internally, like you said. And what a
Hmm.
gift to be able to be independent and feel strong and, lift the bottle of water or the bag of rice or whatever it is. Because we're living our truth every day. And gosh, I'm so grateful for it. And it's great to have this chat with you today. I'm so grateful that we
Hmm.
were able to come together.
Hey, Jennifer, just out of curiosity, did you reverse some kind of health condition that was disabling to you?
Yes, yes, there are several that I've reversed, but my two biggest ones are I was diagnosed with small fiber neuropathy, and that is about 90, it's pretty much gone. And I had lost the sensation. My big right toe was numb, and that's pretty much back. And I also had a lot of sinus trouble and 3 sinus surgeries and sinus medications and allergies. And by eating
Mhm.
this food, the inflammation, like you mentioned, is so low that I don't want to say I don't have allergies anymore, but I haven't had an issue. And I'm not on any
Mhm.
more steroids or sinus rinses that are made at compound pharmacies. I don't have to worry about it. And when I had my last exam with my otolaryngologist, which is like an ENT doctor
Mhm.
and surgeon, and they scope up in there with a camera and you can see it. He
Mhm.
thought it was somebody else. He was like, I would have never, there's nothing here. Like, what are you doing? And so,
That's great.
yeah, he said, just keep doing what you're doing. And so I can travel. I don't have to worry about,
Mhm.
I have to get permission to bring this liquid on the plane and, all this kind of stuff that I used to have to do. I feel freed by healing. I've also had many different tumors, including a brain tumor in the pituitary that I had surgically removed, ovarian, breast, all over my hands. And, I'm not saying I would never get another one. I hope I don't, but I don't have anything like that anymore. So, and it's just, living the way that the blue zones live and that whole food plant-based offers, and getting rid of the
Mhm.
salt and oil and sugar. And boy,
Yeah.
oh boy, did it give me my life
Mhm.
back.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. That's truly a wonderful story. Do you tell about your story in your book, Give Plants a Chance?
Yes, at the beginning of the book,
Okay.
I have a story there, and I've had many interviews also on my YouTube channel. I'm currently featured in Forks Over Knives. And yeah, I just like to take any opportunity that I have. I'm super grateful for it.
Okay.
And just to let people know, Come on, guys, we can
Okay.
do this. Have an apple.
Yeah.
Have a potato.
Great.
Have a
Yeah,
breakfast cookie.
you're an inspiration. That's wonderful. That,
I appreciate it.
people that have your conditions may have just kind of given in and said, well, there's nothing I can do. I just have to take medicine and, stay home and live with it. But how did you find out about this whole lifestyle?
Yeah, so it's been a journey. And actually, I didn't even, try, but I also lost 37 pounds. But how I learned about it was just, over the years, many years ago, I learned about Super Size Me, the movie. And, then
Hmm.
I found Forks Over Knives and Chef AJ. And I just tried different things, the Esselsteins. And, my daughter helped me and she was like, Mom, there's this thing called vegan. I'm like, what's a vegan, right? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And just by trying things and continuing to go in a direction of learning and
Hmm.
rechecking ingredients. Oh, now that I know that oil's not good, this sauce that I thought was great, if I'm not making my own, it has oil. Let's look for something that doesn't. And so I just taught
Hmm.
myself. And it wasn't linear. Believe me, I'm imperfect, but I do try my best. And it's been a journey, but with the groups, I go to potlucks in my area, whole food, plant-based and raw potlucks. And I try to stay connected with people that are like-minded. I try to go to conferences and just make sure that I have that support. I think it's so
Hmm.
important when people, wherever you are in your journey, to have support. And like you said, there are people that are just like, well, there's nothing I can do because my doctor said this is just
Hmm.
how it is. Well, maybe question your doctor. Doctor, have you had training in nutrition? Because what they may be trained in is perfectly wonderful and helpful, but there might be something you could try
Right.
that they don't know about. So,
Hmm. Yeah. And not a lot of them are open though, because like when I go to my doctor and tell them about all the stuff that I've done and they see how well I'm doing, they're like, ho hum, okay, that's great. They're not they're not that interested in it. Like they just kind of like say, oh yeah, that's wonderful. And I never go. I don't really have much reason to go to the doctor, so I only see them in my annual physical. And
right,
then if you don't have anything wrong, there's really nothing to talk about. They don't really want to hear about all the stuff you're doing.
right, because there's no
So,
money in it, right?
hmm it's like, okay,
Unfortunately.
get out of my last appointment. He said, get out of my office. Basically, like you don't need to be here. So I was like, okay.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was kind of said it in a kidding way, but it was
Oh,
kind of
okay,
like, yeah,
good.
there's a
'Cause-
there's a whole waiting room full of people that are sick
yeah.
that that need stuff. So anyway, but that's good. I'm glad that I don't have to be going back and forth to the doctor.
Yeah, yeah, me too, because my life used to revolve around it. And
Hmm.
I have a weighted vest on. I always wear a weighted vest, anywhere from 5 to 6 times a week for anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day, trying to reverse my osteoporosis. And I know I am because I'm so much stronger. I do push-ups every day, and I go for walks, and I just do live the life that I want because I know what it gives me. And I hope that somebody watching realizes that if you're not in that space, if you
Hmm.
try something, if you give plants a chance, you might just surprise yourself and really feel like you can't imagine.
Very true. Well said. It was good to
Yeah,
meet you.
it's a pleasure, really, truly. And for those of you watching, go ahead and reach out to either of us through our bios or the links on Chef Julia's channel. Buy the bundle. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And I just want to say, don't forget to eat your greens and give plants a chance. And thank you again, Chef Julia. It was
Okay.
really a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Bye, everyone. Take care. We'll see you next time.